All right, welcome back to Da Nang, Vietnam. I know you're thinking in the comments, the hate, all the crap, saying it's clickbait, but this is legit. Why I'm leaving Da Nang, Vietnam, aka why by the time you're watching this, I've already left Da Nang, Vietnam. It's not what I planned for or dreamed of or even imagined. This is literally my goodbye for now to my favorite city. In early retirement, Da Nang is over for now. 18 months here, I loved it. I didn't expect to say this sentence or necessarily make this video, certainly not here and not like this, not to Da Nang. If you'd asked me a few years ago, I would have told you this was it for me, the final destination, the absolute dream, the place where you're watching right now, the beach, the quiet streets, the slow mornings. This felt like the end of the line for me, the absolute cheat code to affordability, the place you land when you finally figured things out. And for a lot of you listening, Da Nang is definitely still your best soft landing and early retirement option or destination anywhere in Southeast Asia, or maybe even the whole world. But my life pulled me back to my first home in Vietnam, Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. So let me say this clearly before the internet does what it always does and pukes and shits all over the comments. This is not a rage bait or rage quit video. I still love Da Nang. This is not a Vietnam is ruined or Da Nang is overpriced or do not move to Da Nang video. Da Nang didn't fail me. I'm leaving to go back to Ho Chi Minh City because I have roots there and I have unfinished business there. The reason I'm leaving is not what I planned, but what I thought this was is still here in some ways. When I first arrived in Da Nang, it felt like discovering a footnote in a history book that no one else had read yet. It's about 7 years ago I took my first visit to this city. You know, it wasn't Bangkok, it wasn't Saigon. Honestly, it wasn't on the radar for most people in 2019. It certainly wasn't Bali. It was a very quiet beach city, mountains behind you, ocean in front of you. It was still affordable enough that you stopped doing math every time you ordered coffee, lunch, dinner, or a drink. You know, calm enough that your nervous system actually stood down and relaxed. When my wife and I would come up here on weekends from Saigon, before we had kids, we fell in love with each other, with this place. The silent surf at the cafes perched above the ocean on An Bang Beach, cute villas tucked into the rice paddies outside of Hoi An, where you can still today find affordable luxury for under 500 bucks a month. I thought this might be the end point for my life in Vietnam. That view of the Lady Buddha, the place where you arrive, unpack your life, and finally stop running from all the bullshit of the West and the cost of living crisis. In hindsight, that might have been my first mistake. Places and destinations don't exist to complete us as human beings. But before I tell you why life in Da Nang was ultimately unsustainable, let me tell you why I think a lot of you will still right now be able to build your dream life in Da Nang and all of the amazing parts of this place that I love and that have made me come back and back here. The ups, right? Why Da Nang is still incredible, why it's still this. So let me say first, because anything less would be literally dishonest, Da Nang is beautiful. Da Nang doesn't shout its beauty. It doesn't try to impress you with skyline ego or bright lights or neon shit or curated chaos. It just exists. Green, blue, mountains, ocean, mist, long stretches of beach that belong as much to joggers and to fishermen as they do to tourists. I mean, look at it. It's still freaking empty in the middle of a beautiful day right now in 2026. It's the kind of beauty you don't photograph every day, not because it isn't stunning, but because it becomes normal, familiar. You get used to this, seriously. Like living with someone long enough that you forget how striking or beautiful your lover was when you went on that first date. And look at the skyline. It's incomplete. There's a couple buildings here. There's a bit of a city back there, but this place is not finished, not developed. Number two, it's still totally affordable. Da Nang gives you something most modern beach cities quietly stole from us. Margin, right? Financial margin, mental margin. After I left work and moved up here from Saigon, I was rewarded with a huge amount of time and optionality. It's what allowed me to basically build this YouTube channel. You can live here without constantly negotiating your future, right? without that low-grade hum of anxiety in the background that sort of negates happiness in Western life, without the hustle culture or the vibe of Asian megacities, you leave behind that sense that one bad month, one surprise bill, one health scare, one wrong turn, and the whole thing will collapse. You don't have that here. Here, you can breathe, you can pause, you can stop rushing your meals because of geo-arbitrage. You can stop apologizing for existing, and you can actually exhale and buy yourself a bit of space and time. That alone is worth something, in my opinion. It is worth restarting over in Da Nang. 3, it's extremely accessible. It's an easy landing spot. Daily life here flows at a pace that allows you to integrate slowly, right? Tiptoes, toes in the water before you swim, all that shit. The airport here works, it's easy, it's new, it's international. It's like 12 to 15 minutes from my bedroom. You can literally wake up, check in online, easy flights around Asia, be on board in like an hour tops. Seoul, Singapore, Tokyo, Shenzhen, Shanghai, yada yada, Hong Kong, you take your pick, man. Unlike so many parts of urban Vietnam, dominated by traffic, smog, and the whine of 125cc scooters, there's neighborhoods here in Da Nang that are quiet, and the city at large is very walkable. The beach itself is like an artery. Traffic exists, but it doesn't dominate your day or your timeline or your schedule the way it does in a lot of big cities. Pollution is low enough that you don't taste it in the back of your throat. Lots of people say in the comments that this beach is dirty. If you think this is a dirty beach, bro, you have not fucking been on a dirty beach. You've never seen what like Cancun at high season is. You've never been to fucking pick a busy beach, man. Wake up early, walk 3 or 4 kilometers from here up in Son Cha to down there in An Tung to have your morning coffee at the trendier, busier neighborhood. Like, you can live an incredibly good life in Da Nang. Honestly, yes, I'm gonna miss it. It's one of the healthiest, most affordable places I've ever been. Lighter than Saigon, cleaner, simpler than Bangkok, built for people who want to eat, be calm, and not find novelty, right? Soup, seafood, small portions, all that stuff. The sun, the clean air, a higher daily step count, and you've got a recipe for healthy longevity in your golden years, my friend. If all you want is a livable, gentle, beautiful, and affordable, humane city, Da Nang's it, buddy. It is your gift from God right now, but who knows how long it'll last. So yeah, why would I leave, right? This is where you're like, fucking clickbait, man, you're not leaving, you're full of shit, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, for us, for my family, this is the thing, I'm one of 4, the dream kind of cracked. This is where the influencer videos usually stop, right? 90% of the videos about Da Nang right now, trending, you see on YouTube, are made by fucking assholes who don't live here and have never spent more than a month or 2 in Vietnam. It's just a fact. They're posers, they're fakes. They literally don't live in Vietnam. They came once for 90 days on a tourist visa, made a few videos. They just showed up for a long weekend on a content trip. You know, they ripped off my videos or others. They're literally just parroting and reiterating the things that you can find online already. They're not talking about life, about real personal experiences. You know, the flip side, I talk to lots of long-term expats here, and a lot of them do struggle, right? It's easy to chop up a 5-minute highlight reel or a short teaser to try and make a buck or go viral, but that doesn't actually mean it's easy to live long-term in Vietnam. I'm not talking about digital nomads, backpackers, or trending topics like retire in Vietnam. You know, I'm not talking about people who've literally never had a job or career to retire from. And frankly, those are the people that are driving up prices by overpaying and regurgitating uninformed nonsense about An Tung, an area that's like the size of my thumbnail. Yes, mark my words, 2026, June, July, the high season prices here in Da Nang will be nuts. They'll be triple what they were a few years ago because people who come for a week or a month don't care, don't know, and aren't worried about real costs of living, living like a local, or even real expats. They honestly don't know the difference between an expat, a resident, an immigrant, etc. Which brings me to the first real downside. Sorry if it sounds like a rant, but number 1, Da Nang was already touristy and it is becoming more touristy, too touristy. Da Nang made a real choice, right? Resorts, golf courses, beach clubs, development aimed outward instead of inward. That road at the end of the point is closed. Why? Because there's an intercontinental resort. The security guard won't let you pass anymore. What's up there? Just a resort? No, a national park. Anyways, slowly, almost imperceptibly, this city can stop feeling like a place where people really live and start feeling like a place where you pass through. It's transient. The beach is overcrowded at high season. The roads are blocked with tourist buses. And yeah, garbage and construction dust is piling up with no infrastructure to unload it and clean it up. Straight up, when your neighbors are already temporary, when you become temporary too, even if you don't plan to be, right? I didn't move across the world to live inside a postcard or a travel brochure. I live in Vietnam because of the quality of life it affords, and I love the people, the culture, the history, the geography, literally this land itself. Next up, number 2, it's real, the long, cold, rainy season. That said, even though it is beautiful here, for year-rounders, this part is criminally underplayed, undermentioned, whatever. People imagine Vietnam as endless sun and warmth like this, but Da Nang has a different personality. Months of gray, wind that cuts, rain that isn't romantic, just relentless. You've seen my videos, you know I'm wearing a jacket, a sweater, a toque, hoodie, right? When the digital nomads and slow travelers and snowbirds escape to Bali and Chiang Mai, it is absolutely pissing rain here. Like Sleepless in Seattle, London fog vibes, and the houses are not insulated like in the West. So my Saigonese wife, who's used to humid, warm weather, was freezing, always, right? Because objectively, Ho Chi Minh has better weather. There's more sunny days in the south. There are warmer temperatures in the south than Da Nang. It's just the reality. And a beach city without beach weather for long stretches of the year is, you know, psychologically, that's weird. It's not the vibe you're looking for. I'm not saying it breaks you. Yes, it's a nitpick, but it does slowly erode the fantasy of 12-month-a-year living here. And I think fantasies matter more than we like to admit. I came here to live a dream, absolutely. So did my wife, right? So let's talk about that part, because I do see a lot of comments asking about my family life, the community, the church, the English schools. So I'm just gonna be brutally honest about it. And if you guys shit on me in the comments, so be it. Disclaimer said. Number 3, Da Nang is too transient and not family friendly for expats and foreigners. This is the real one. We aren't leaving Da Nang for me, for my solo personal needs. We're leaving because of a lack of opportunity for my wife, her career, our kids, education, the future. Da Nang is full of good people. There's beautiful locals, but the expats, they don't stay. The real locals, they don't speak English. A real relationship with the guy who runs your hotel, sorry man, that's not friendship. It's just the reality. Most expats stay 90 to 180 days, 6 months a year, one visa run, then they're gone. I made a whole video about long-term visas. You can watch that if you actually want to live here. But friendships here often come with expiration dates. I made great friends. I hosted 20 in-person meetups at Scallywags Bar and Grill. I met dozens of awesome guys, traveling retired couples, but all of them, without fail, come and go. And the reality is we became friends, real legitimate friends, with one other family here the entire time we lived here. And guess what? They left too. Sorry. Community exists, but it resets constantly. It's more of a seasonal Florida retirement town or a Mexican touristy beach town vibe than a hometown lived-in city vibe for people that aren't Central Coast Vietnam region locals. That's fine when you're optimizing for freedom, for temporariness. It can be perfect, but it's less than fine when you're optimizing for roots and the next 10 to 20 years when you're trying to build a real life. Yeah, my parents and in-laws both visited for 3 months last year, and despite looking for real apartments or houses for them to rent, they ended up living for months at a time in hotels. Why? Not because of cost, because that's all that's available here. It's really hard to find an actual real house to rent. And then there's the practical truth, which no one likes to say out loud. There are no real jobs here outside of tourism. Not for locals, not for foreigners, not for families trying to build something stable. Either you're in tourism, food and beverage, or you're working online or leaving for greener pastures in Ho Chi Minh City or abroad. It's just the reality. Even for my wife, for my buddy who's got a girlfriend from here, there's nothing. There's no ladder, there's no path, there's no future. She's well-educated, smart, English fluent, ambitious. Vietnamese women in their 30s, in their 20s, they leave. They have to be in Ho Chi Minh, you know, period, end of story. They want to go to Singapore, to Kuala Lumpur. And when your partner's life can't exist in the place you're living, the answer becomes obvious even if it hurts, right? You know what they say, of course. Bro, happy wife equals happy life. Ultimately, Saigon just has more to offer for all of us. Better housing, better schools, better education. Of course, I'm going to continue to make tons of videos in Vietnam and Ho Chi Minh. Does it have a better beach, better air quality, or better retirement community? Not necessarily, no. But life is ultimately a trade-off, and you have to go where is right for you. So the real reason, the one underneath all of this, the part I didn't expect, is that Da Nang didn't change, but my expectations and reality have shifted. I have zero regrets about the year and a half we lived up here. It's been absolutely amazing to live in both Son Cha and An Bang, an opportune ideal to escape the hustle culture of Asian megacities, to slow down, to find time and optionality, and ultimately to build this YouTube channel and meet so many of you guys and build community. This city was perfect for what I was doing when I arrived here, for someone who needed rest, space, perspective, was burnt out from my career and from COVID. And Da Nang allowed me to reset my life. Truly grateful for that, right? I was someone who needed to step off the treadmill of careerism, accreditation, of having young babies and not being able to sleep, and remember what it felt like when I wasn't like weaponized for productivity. Da Nang gave me that, afforded it to me, and I'm so thankful. I love Da Nang. But life doesn't freeze just because a place is affordable and beautiful. Careers evolve, families grow, responsibilities can stack up quietly, even in retirement. At some point, a chapter ends, not because it failed, but because it's finished, it worked. It's time to turn the page. So this is not a warning video. I'm not telling you not to move here to Da Nang or to Vietnam. For the right person, the right time, right now, Da Nang is still the best place in Asia to land, especially if you're burnt out, especially if you need space to rethink. If I had $1 million in cash right now, I would build myself a massive retirement villa at An Bang Beach outside of Hoi An and move back up here in 10 years when I'm 55. That is still totally a dream, but don't confuse ease with permanence. Not every beautiful place is meant to hold you forever. Yes, this is goodbye for right now. I didn't fail here, I just grew and changed, and I'm so grateful for all of you for watching and subscribing to the channel, supporting the whole Evane project and my early retirement, and especially to all the guys watching who came out and met up with me and said hello at Scallywags. You guys are the fucking best. I love you dudes. Y'all know who you are. And I love Da Nang, and I know I'll be back soon. The city gave me time, health, clarity, literally a slower heartbeat, a chance to build without panic, and that's not nothing. But for now, it's time to move on. Not because Da Nang is worse, because my life is different. So goodbye, Da Nang. Hello, Saigon. And as always, if you want to come along for the ride with me, I'm moving to Saigon, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. You can like, share, subscribe. And if you want to see what the big city life in Vietnam is really and truly like, come along for the ride with me. Everything's linked below. Thanks so much. I'm Evan A, and I'm still retired early in Vietnam, no matter what you fucking say. Guys, I gotta have some sort of meetup in Saigon, something, right? I don't know what it's gonna be. You got any ideas? You got any plans? We gotta have a couple more beers, right? We can hang out in the city. Drop your ideas in the comments below. If you know a spot in Saigon, a community, something, a place to hang out, to have beers, whatever it is, sports, trivia, a barbecue, a party, a pizza. Honestly, I don't know. I don't care. I just want to have a good time and enjoy the life. And again, thanks so much for watching. Here's an entire playlist I built, giving you the logistics, nuts and bolts of how to retire in Vietnam right now. Here is whatever my favorite video is today. Good luck.